Hey everybody, and welcome to the Maneaters series. This is episode 3, I believe. And I have a wonderful guest with me today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I am MeeChee Hazen. How are you?
MeeChee has been on my show last year for my, was it 31 Days of Horror and
Yes,
everything. And so I
yes,
wanted to bring her back. She had such a great time the last time, I think. So, and
I did.
I think I picked a really good one for us. When I originally, so I had to find something that because some of these are available on just DVD, some of them are available on Prime, and some of them are available on like Tubi, or some of them are on both, that
Mm.
kind of thing. So I was lucky enough to find uh that this one was on there, and I was like, okay, I think this will be a fun one for us to do. And it stars Tara Reid and a bunch of amazing people in it, like Corbin Burnson and a couple other people that I just really really enjoyed. But first of all, since this is both mine and yours probably first time watching. You've never seen it before, right?
I don't believe so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was my first time. I've seen quite a few other similar to it, but I think this is my first time watching this one in particular.
Well, right, and I like that you said that it's like there's movies that are similar to this one because
Mm-hmm.
it is a very sci-fi movie. Like this is a
Yeah.
made for sci-fi. It has all the tropes, has all the it was almost like as if somebody read the only thing I don't think they had, or if they did, it was really uh they had airplanes, they had jet planes, but they did not have any helicopters, did they? That's a
No, they
typical.
didn't.
That is
No.
okay. So I know a director who worked for sci-fi, and he actually gave me a blueprint. And they have a blueprint. They have a thing that they need, and everything. One of the things they say is you need a helicopter for. I don't know why, but it's like if you look at all their
Hmm.
movies, after I heard that, I started watching all their movies, and oh
Yeah.
my god, all their movies had like helicopters in it, even if it's just like just passing by or something,
Well,
or
I
not.
guess they just needed like a prop type of aircraft. They did have
Yeah,
that prop plane.
yeah, they had a plane, but they didn't have a
Yeah.
that. So um but
No helicopter evacuations.
yeah, that would be cool though. I mean, snakes on a helicopter, they could have made some kind of jokes with that, I guess, right? You know,
Yeah.
um, there's snakes in a car, you know.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
it was just one of those things. I watched it going. It's like it's a lot of fun. And so, what was your initial reaction to it?
That's a lot of snakes.
Really?
Um,
Right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because I'm used to like one huge one or a couple, like a
Right.
male and female type partnership going on with the snakes, but it was a lot more than I expected. So it made it a little bit more interesting. And then the way they attacked was pretty awesome.
Well, that was another thing it kind of didn't like though in a way because like in the beginning of the movie, and we'll get to this because this is
Yes.
something that really bothers me throughout the whole movie, is that like okay, there's a beginning scene, like one of the opening scenes is like at the biotech or
Hmm.
whatever the base.
Universal Biotech. Yeah.
Yeah, the base, not the headquarters, but the base. And there was the scientist working on the snakes and everything, and he goes and the bad guy kills all the people that worked on it. I don't even know why. I guess maybe to shut them up and make sure they don't like let anybody know what they did, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But I'm like, then why even have them work on it? Like if you're just gonna kill them, like I mean, I don't know. It just seemed kind of silly. And then they let the snakes out, but it's like they didn't have any plan to like keep the snakes like what I mean,
Contained.
contained. Like,
Yeah.
and see, I I don't know if that was just a script issue or if that was like something more, but that like bothered me because they say snakes escaped, and I'm
Hmm.
like, how? We didn't see them escape. We saw them like they were contained in that one area, And then
Right.
all of a sudden, it's like the next announcement. Oh, by the way, these snakes have escaped. And I'm like,
You didn't see him go through the grate on the ground?
I did not notice that. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That
All
after the snakes did their thing to all the dead people or killed them and stuff like that, whatever, there was a grate that somehow formed a
oh,
hole, and
maybe
they
I missed that.
all went down into that
Okay, because that
like
was bothering me
system.
so much. But like,
Now you
how?
know.
But how can you? How can somebody open up the thing? You know, like where all the snakes were, and then just like not have any plan to like put them in something or whatever. Like, you know, like it was so well, like so just terribly organized. And
Yeah, you have your extremists, I guess.
I don't know. But then, so they escape, and then, or maybe that was that the plan all along, was to have them escape into the world. So I mean, I don't like what was the
Into it was because the female scientist that was doing all the research for the breast cancer cells and
mm,
such, right? That's why I guess the snakes were modified. And so once they figured out how the snakes could be used as a bioweapon, that's when they're like, okay, we're going to test it on this island. You know, it's
right,
and then we can contain it there. And that's why the guy was like, okay, your bit's done. I'm taking over. And then
right?
all hell just broke loose from there. So
It's true,
that's why he didn't want to kill it with the gas.
right?
Because I was like
Uh,
confused at first. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, we found the bad guy.
okay, yeah, the bad guy, who, by
Yeah.
the way, has a radio the whole time
The
that
whole
just
time.
doesn't go off until he's dead.
Mm-mm. Yep,
And I'm like,
exactly. I'm like,
okay, so
really?
and he had it on. Like it's not like he was dying and then just turned it on, you know? Like it was like it was on the whole time and like nobody communicated to him until after he was dead and they're like, oh,
Nope.
he had a radio. We can, communicate with these people.
They could have, yeah, they could have called
Oh,
it off and everything the whole time. And
the whole
he
time.
didn't
But like,
want it. And look what happened to him.
yeah, well, he was an idiot. He was like the worst bad guy I've ever. And well, he
Oh
wasn't the
my
main
God.
bad guy, but he was like the bad guy
No,
to the bad guy. Obviously Corbin Burnson was the
but it
bad
looked
guy.
like he was trying to turn at the end. It did really look like he was trying to turn at the end into to help. But
Just to save his
when
ass.
we when they discovered the radio, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, no, he wasn't
Yeah, I
trying to
know.
turn into the
He
good
was trying to
person
save
at
his ass, and they
all.
even say that at the thing. It's like he wants basically whatever. So like the only other thing I was thinking of that bothered me a lot, and this was just something that so like Tara Reid is this I guess botanist or whatever. She sells plants and bonsais and
Yeah.
flowers. I don't know, whatever.
Hmm.
Gardening person. I don't know. She didn't even look like the type. She didn't even look like she knew what the hell she was doing. But uh, but the
Well, you
thing
saw what she was
so
selling behind the curtain.
and she got arrested for punching the girl in the face. So she
Who
gets
deserved
put
it?
who deserved it, but not really. I mean, I don't know. That was like the weirdest scene. We're going to talk about that in a second. That was the weirdest scene. But what really annoyed me, and this goes to maybe you got something I didn't again, but like
uh,
she's in the jail and the dude's helping her like with the like
oh, her knuckles.
yeah, with her knuckles and stuff like that. And then I guess I don't know if he left or not because they cut to a scene and they cut back and they're talking to each other. And it was like she escaped, but like like we missed an escape to me. Like, is
He
that
left. He left one of his scalpels or something like that on the cot next to
where am
her.
I? How am I missing these things? I watched it twice and I'm still missing these things.
And she finagled the lock.
Did you
And
watch it on
he,
Tubi or
I watched.
on
No, I watched it on Prime.
God, I watched it on Prime. Like, what the fuck am I missing? I thought maybe there was a different cut or something.
No,
Uh,
he did it on purpose.
okay.
Because he wanted to see, and that's how they ended up talking together outside of the cell.
Yeah.
But she was
I
gonna go back. So
She was gonna go back because she was only gonna
yeah,
run some errands.
yeah, errands.
Did you notice that like the cop after she had gotten a free or whatever didn't. I mean, I guess there was more problems right now happening. It was never like, hey, why aren't you in your jail cell? Your one jail cell.
Nobody questioned it.
Yeah, they just kind of like
Nobody questioned it.
and then I guess he was happy because he got to throw the one little girl into the into the place or whatever, right? You know, like I don't
Well,
know,
you got to save her. I mean,
right? That girl is sort of annoying at times. Like I was just like, I understand, like they have to have a little bit of drama in this, but like it got annoying. um,
I wrote down in my notes right here, teenage angst.
Teenage angst. That's a good note.
I was like, there it is. And I
There
thought
it
there was a little
is.
bit of a lot because of the parents and what they're going through and who's seeing who and who's doing what and the kid caught in the middle and also she
Like,
didn't want to move anywhere to a new school, you know.
all right.
So
So maybe also here's another thing that annoyed the hell out of me in that scene where she gets that chick got punched in the face.
uh
Tara Reid is like talking to the new guy, right? And she mentions
mhm.
that he was like in the military or something, right? And then she turns and she says, "You knew Jason, didn't you?" And I'm like,
Mm,
"Where the fuck did that come from? Like, how did she like he never once said anything that could remotely, like that was so weird out of
it
nowhere."
was you okay, you want to know what bothered me was
Yeah.
when the new doctor, the Jason Jonathan Scarp, what was his character's name?
Uh Cal?
Okay, Cal. Yeah, when Cal was meeting the sheriff, right?
Yeah.
And they went to shake hands, and he has this tattoo that says USN, United States Navy. And he's like,
Right.
"Oh, Marine Corps." I was like, "No, that's not the Marine Corps, honey. That's Navy." I was like,
Wow. They couldn't even get
"Yes,
that right? Like
no,"
they
and
put that
he
they
was like, "Yeah," because Cal's like, "Yeah, I was a medic, you know." And but
Oh my
yes,
god.
clearly it says USN, and the sheriff is like, "Oh, Marine Corps, okay." Like,
That's funny. That's
that
funny.
irked me so bad. I was
You're
like,
you if you don't mind me saying, like, what, you were in the military, so,
yes,
like,
I
this
was.
shit. Like, you saw that. I
That
wouldn't
bothered
pick
me
that up
so
because I
bad.
just wasn't even paying attention to I just saw they had a tattoo and that, that he noticed whatever.
Hmm.
I wasn't paying attention to what it was, what the thing was, but you would pick that up because obviously what the tattoos mean or say or whatever. That's so
Oh,
stupid. That's terrible. Like
it
that
was horrible.
they can't even get that right. I mean, that's just
Mm-mm.
bad.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe because it wasn't Marine Corps, that maybe that's why there wasn't any helicopters.
I don't know. I don't know. This movie, oh man. But like, okay, I was telling you before, this is a movie I could watch more than once. It is, and I did actually. I watched it twice. I watched it last night and then I watched it today beforehand because and it's not one of those movies where I'm like, oh my God, this is so terrible. This is like Sharknado, to me. This is just silly, stupid, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love Sharknado.
right. I love Sharknado. Tara Reid did a terrible job in Sharknado, the first one. Then, because I
Yes,
think I felt like at that particular time she just did not care about like she did
anything.
not know it was gonna
It
blow up. She did not know it was gonna become a thing. You know,
was gonna be one of
um,
those end all, to be all the end all type movies, and my career's done.
exactly.
You know.
Like I remember when I had heard about Sharknado, I got really excited. It was all over the internet, like, oh my God, there's gonna be this
Hmm.
movie called Sharknado. And so the day that it aired, like the day after it aired, I was gonna be interviewing the writer of it, Thunder Levinson. And I was super excited to interview him. I was in the grocery store getting food or whatever, and I overhear this older lady, she must have been in like her 60s or something, going, "Did you see
Hmm.
that movie Sharknado the other night? That was crazy." And she's just telling the cashier about this. And I was like, this is bigger than what I think they were even thinking. That Asylum, the company that usually makes those movies, and they did not make this movie, which it almost felt like an Asylum movie, to be honest, but it's definitely a sci-fi movie, you know.
Yeah.
But the Asylum did not expect that Sharknado to blow up. So when Shark even probably they thought it would be a fun idea, let's make this movie, you know. And then they made like 6 of them, after that
Yeah.
or whatever. And that was the thing. Like this movie kind of blew up to be something much bigger and
Hmm.
everything. And then Terry was like, "Oh, let's keep making these, I'm going to actually put my effort into it. I'm not going to, I'm not
Yeah.
just going to phone it in." And that was the thing, because this was made in 2008, Vipers, and Tara Reid was wonderful in this. Like
Yes.
she was so sweet. She was funny. She had great lines. She, had a fun character. She seemed to enjoy
Hmm.
what she was doing. She brought a lot of heart and a lot of love to it. The guy who played Cal was Jonathan Scaff or something. He was
Yeah.
wonderful. He was wonderful too. I loved him. I'd
Hmm.
never seen him before, and I still haven't. Like, I don't know if I've seen him, whatever, but he
Mm.
was wonderful. The other doctor, the older doctor, retired, was in.
Corbin Burson.
No, no,
No, wait.
the doctor that was retiring. Corbin Burnson was the bad guy.
That's right.
You
He
know,
was a bad guy.
he was the bad guy. But his name was Don S. Davis.
Yes.
You might remember him from a little show called Twin Peaks. He played the
Oh, that's
he was
forever ago.
yeah, and he was also in a show Stargate, I believe. So
Hmm.
so he was sort of a big name person, or
I
whatever.
was really surprised to see his face. I was like, no way.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
I just when I saw his name, I was like, I know that name. I did not know, like, and then I looked him up, and I was like, that's it. He was the major in
Mm.
Twin Peaks, and he was just he's one of my favorite characters in that show. I just watched that last year for the first time, and I was just like, I was in love with it. It had everything I love, and so did this movie. Like, this movie felt like a uh so I used to watch these movies when I would come home from work, you know,
Hmm.
back in I think 2006, 5, 7, all that stuff. I'd come home from work and I'd be like, I need to watch something I don't need to think, you know.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a thinking movie, or whatever. Just like you were doing some thinking when you were doing this because you were getting ready for for a review.
Hmm.
Generally speaking, you watch these movies and you're just like, okay, snakes killing people, people dying, people figuring out how to kill the snakes. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
that's the formula.
Hmm.
And so this movie is definitely one of those, like, it's got a little bit of a pattern and it's fun. There's a million snakes and I love it.
Yeah. I couldn't believe there's so many. That's what
Way
threw me
too many.
off.
I think unless some of them were breeding and making more snakes, there was no way that all of those snakes could have been in that one little containment in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
Because
they said that they were going to breed pretty fast.
yeah, so maybe that was it.
So
So I don't
yeah,
know, but there was so
that's
many snakes, and I loved it.
scary
Uh,
if that were to ever happen. That's
well, I mean, it's funny because I'm living in LA, and LA has a lot of rattlers, and
Mm.
stuff. California has rattlers.
Hmm.
I've been afraid to hike sometimes, especially I won't hike at night, you know, um,
Oh yeah.
because I'm just like, my roommate would go and hike, and she would tell me at night, and she would tell me, oh, I saw this spider, or I saw that snake, and I'm
Hmm.
like, nope, nope, I'm staying in here. I'm okay. I don't need to come join you, because
Yeah, I used to go to Lake Ojai and Lake Casitas all the time when I was in California and hike there. And there's always a lot of snakes and spiders and stuff there too, but never went hiking at night. Nope,
nope, not
not
a
at
good
all.
idea. Not a good
Nope.
idea. Um,
Mm-mm.
so yeah, so basically the whole gist of the movie is, new guy comes to island, finds out there's lots of snakes, has to figure out a way to help the people there, and then That's it. Like they do. And then they get the revenge on the guy. And you think, oh, this guy's gonna be I thought he was gonna be arrested. Like there's cops coming down and I guess that was security that was just like,
Uh,
like getting rid of him. But I thought like, oh man,
mm,
this guy's gonna get arrested. I mean, he fucking killed a bunch of people. He let a bunch of people die,
yeah.
like and they had proof of it. And then he's in the car at the end and then he gets his final just desserts and gets killed. So, I mean,
It's like
it was
oodles.
yeah, honestly, this was one of my favorite of the Maneater series so far. Um, Now I think there might be one or two that'll probably top it, but this is the contender for like my top 5, so far already. So, I'm hoping by the end of this like series I can kind of figure out which ones I like the better, or the most, you
Yeah, I
know.
would like to see a list. I want to watch them all, and
Oh,
come up with.
if you look
So
up man-eater series on Google, there
okay,
is a list on like Wikipedia or something. And
okay.
so it's got the list of all the movies and everything and what they're about, like what kind of man-eater they are. One of them's a curse, which doesn't make any sense. Like, how's that a man-eater? I don't know.
Hmm.
Uh, One of them that we've already watched, Something Beneath, that was the last one we did. That was I think that was like oilish kind of thing, like an oil blob kind of thing that ate people. So it
Something
was
like the creep show thing.
um it's kind of like a mixture of like you ever seen Chud where it's like sewer
Yeah, a
like a
long time
sewer
ago.
creature?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that. It was more like that. It was
Okay.
it was a decent movie. I mean, obviously I had more fun watching this one. Once again, probably because of Tara Reid. Like I said, she was a lot of fun, and generally speaking, she can be. And sometimes like in the American Pie movies, she's sort of like not as huge of the names of people, like
Hmm.
everybody else is just as big as her. So
Yeah.
being in an ensemble, she really doesn't get a chance to really shine as a character. And her character, I think it was a Vicky or something. Her character's just not that
Mm.
great on American Pie. But then I see, you see her in all these silly movies, and then she can basically play just a goofy character, and stuff, and have
Yeah.
fun. I
She brings it to life. Gives a character.
Exactly. I could have seen her if she could have played the pot angle a little bit more and been like a hippie kind of chick. I think that would have been a lot more fun for her. But they went with
I
just
think
kind of
that
what,
Yeah, I think that little girl, the one who got caught smoking the pot, she
right?
lost her buzz real quick, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. I don't even think
I don't
she really had one
it's-
to begin with.
no, because she didn't know how to
Yeah,
act high.
yeah. Well, she was young. I mean, I don't give. I like especially teenage
Yeah, yeah.
actors. A lot of them it's like one of their first films.
Hmm.
So I mean, I never unless they are just so terrible, like I can't stand them, or something. She had some all right moments. It's just like I said before, it had a lot of drama. I really like seeing there's a girl named Mercedes McNabb who played like the character Georgie who gets eaten by the snakes in the bed.
Oh my
Um,
God, yes,
I love
the
her.
Jeep
She was
rental. Yeah.
she was in Buffy as Harmony. She was in Hatchet. She was in a bunch of different stuff, and I just always adored her. And so when I saw her in the credits, I got really like my heart dropped because I knew Tara Reid was in this, but I did not
Mhm.
know she was in it. And I was like, "Oh." And I mean, she had a fun character, sort of like she was the, she was with the guy who's married, who was kind of, I guess, separated or so,
Yeah.
whatever. So like they were breaking up, and I mean, it caused a lot of drama, but it was
Hmm.
all right. Now let's go back to that whole like scene with the punching,
Okay.
I that really bothered me. That scene. So we talked about how I guess she knew he was that he knew Joey, which really
Hmm.
bothered me that much because I was like, how the fuck? like, and why would this guy like randomly, like, it felt so awkward that he would just come to this island that his dead friend, like his dead, whatever partner in the war,
Mhm.
I don't, I don't know what you call a fellow soldier, you know,
Mhm.
died in the war, and he comes and I don't even know what war. They don't even say anything like specific,
No.
but he died, and then apparently I guess she was pregnant or something with his kid or something, and because she said
Yeah.
something about not being a grieving mother or something, but just being a grieving
Yeah.
ex. And I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, so there's a little bit more information that was given. And then I guess that guy had cheated on her with the other girl or something. I don't know. Like there's too much drama that like
There
after a while it
was.
was just like kind of zoned out, went over my head because it
Mhm.
was like trying so hard to like I think what it was trying to do was pad the movie out some more, right? Like give it some more, stuff where you kind of care about this character or something, but kind of also explain what's going on so people can,
Yeah, but that's also where they lost me. It's like, okay, there's too many people liking somebody else and too much of hanging in the past
right.
type of thing, you know.
Even the
And
doctor's
then
just like, get over it, like
it's like seriously.
he's like, I don't, or whatever. My favorite line in that whole thing was him telling the, you know, what did he say to, he said something to the effect of your, if you guys want this guy to be the next in line, he's got to know who's got drama with who, kind of thing, or whatever. That
Yes.
line, I forgot the exact word for word, but it was hilarious
Uh-huh.
because see, he was one of my favorite characters. Like, and the other thing was like whatever. Before then, the other guy was like, "This is a family matter," and I'm like thinking, "Really? Is that a family matter if your daughter's just caught smoking weed and, like who freaking steals the weed out of the place and then doesn't leave? Like, oh,
Yes, and then there were like other customers there.
you know what I would have
It's
written?
like,
I had done it. I would have done it where she steals the weed. She goes
shh,
to she goes and
sorry.
to the she steals the weed. She goes into the what is it, woods, and then gets eaten by the snakes. Because we really didn't need her to live. Like her character was so meaningless to me, honestly. She saves that guy's ass at the end, but
How?
like anybody could have.
Anybody could have done that. I mean, he was almost at the door anyway. And so she's like,
Right.
well, I shaved your ass. It's like, you threw a smoke bomb?
Yeah. Like anybody could
Where
have
did you
done
get
that.
that?
Yeah.
I thought
I
they
mean,
used it all.
yeah. I don't know. It was just sometimes a clusterfuck of a movie, honestly. But
Yeah.
it's sort of what happens when you have like no like big huge budget. This isn't a Hollywood
Yeah.
movie. This wasn't something that, this made on a very low budget. Probably the biggest thing they spent was on Tara Reid's, trailer, and all that stuff, like paying Tara Reid was probably the most out of the budget. And
Yeah,
so, and then
probably.
that's what it felt like, and I didn't mind that. Like it didn't bother me that I like these no budget movies, sort of low budget movies.
Hmm.
You know, and the snakes, CGI snakes were fun. That was probably like some of the best. Like all the deaths were a lot of fun. So all in all, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And I
I
want
did.
to if I had to rate it or something like a B C D, right, I
Hmm.
would definitely give it a B plus to an A minus, like A minus. I would say A minus. Like it's one of my favorite movies. I don't know if anything of any of the other ones will get higher than that. You know,
I would say B plus plus because remember the two campers in the beginning?
yeah,
Where did they go?
that's true. They couldn't find their body.
Yeah.
Um, and how like do
Uh,
snakes take bodies away? I mean,
But they
I
left the ring. They left the
left the
ring,
ring.
remember?
No, they're like, we don't need that.
There was nothing else. So I'm like, and then, but everybody else that passed away was still there. So I'm like,
Maybe they're in the water because they are right next to the water. I don't know, but like it didn't. Like there was a lot of like fish
Oh,
heads and other things, like they killed a lot of like wildlife, and shit and stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know. It was sort of like kind of weird with that, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I kind of, really much.
I enjoyed it, like I said, because of the amount of snakes that they
Yeah.
had was a lot more than
Yeah.
I expected. You know,
See, I hate these movies where they have like one big, huge fucking snake,
yeah,
and then it's like you can't see that like a mile
you
away,
can't see it coming.
right? Like, that's always my favorite part is when somebody is like this, right, and then they turn
uh,
around and the snake is there. It's like you could not hear
okay.
that thing slithering. Oh, it's a huge fucking thing. Like you can't like how does a huge snake like that like ninjas sneak up on you? I don't understand it. Like it
It it doesn't. I mean,
it
you have to
doesn't.
be completely deaf or zoned out to just have it discovered. Oh my
That
god!
see
Like
see
that.
that's writing right there because you can make the characters deaf and that would make sense. You know.
Yes, it would.
See, I would buy that. I would buy a deaf person or the other thing I didn't like was they had this scene where the guy it goes into the bathroom and the girl's in the bed and he turns on the music. I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
I'm like, you turn on the music like when you go take a
Mm.
shower like that, like outside that, you know what I mean? Like it just felt
Hmm.
really weird. Like obviously the reason she turned up the music is so that she could die and make noise and scream a little bit and he didn't hear
Yeah.
her. But he didn't even need the music, honestly. Like he
No,
could
because
have,
the hair dryer just
yeah,
drowned it out.
yeah. Or the when he was in the shower, like he's not gonna hear anything except the shower. So I mean,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like I don't know.
Mm.
It was just it was silly at times, but honestly, like I said, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I would definitely watch it again. This is a movie
Same
that
here.
I'll watch when I'm sort of bored. Like I want it on DVD eventually because it'll
Mm.
be something like if I'm in the mood for all those, for a sci-fi movie that, just I can just tune out, kind of thing and just
Hmm.
watch like while I'm doing something or whatever, or I can watch on
Hmm.
like Prime. This might end up being my like, let me put this on the television and do acting or not acting, writing work or something. So that's what I suggest for people to watch this. Do not, if you're gonna go into this movie like dissecting everything from the very start, if you're that type of person, do not watch this movie.
Yeah,
If you're the kind of
I agree.
person that kind of enjoys this kind of silliness and sci-fi ness, like
And the
they have
creativity.
creativity with all the
Yeah.
different snakes and all the
Hmm.
different deaths. I mean,
Yeah.
I was so I really liked the death of the glass coming down and because it was very like Final Destination like, you know.
Yes. I wasn't
Um,
expecting him to die like that.
I didn't know. I thought a snake was gonna jump on him
Same
and
here. And
stuff. I
then
was
that happened. I was like,
that happened. I was like, that's pretty
wow.
cool.
Yeah, I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
But what I didn't like is that he saw it coming, kind of thing, and he didn't move out of the
And
way.
he didn't move.
He just stood
Nope.
there going, okay,
Okay.
well, that's gonna happen.
Like,
It
I'm
doesn't.
right here.
It's a film thing. It only
Hmm.
happens in film.
Yeah.
I can understand if it literally like was just about to fall down or something, and you couldn't, have that second. But if
Hmm.
you have a second to say a line of dialogue that's kind of long, while you're waiting for it to come down, you have time to move out of the way. That your body will go into like a
Yeah.
fight or flight mode, and you will do what you can. However, it's a film. So it happens. The
It
guy
is.
just it's
Yeah.
a film thing. Like they want the audience to go, ha ha ha, something's gonna happen, and then that
Hmm.
happens, and then you're like,
And
okay.
it did. And then, yeah. And then that happens. And it just happened so quickly. He didn't have time to move. Or he was just so shook by the moment, you
Well,
know?
I mean, if you
You never
shoot
know.
glass, generally speaking, glass is probably gonna fall on you.
It is. It is.
I mean, I understand you're
Because
not
I was
thinking
like,
about that.
yeah. I mean, I was waiting for it. I'm like, dude's gonna shoot the class. They're gonna come down on him. and it
Nope.
happened. And I
Well,
was like,
they
there it
didn't
is.
come down on him, but he did
Well, no,
kind of
not them, but
something
yeah.
came down on him. Um,
Hmm.
it was honestly, I mean, like I said, if you can just shut your brain off and just not think like, I mean, there are some weird ass lines in the movie sometimes. Like there's the weirdest line in the whole movie. I have to talk about this. The
Okay.
weirdest line in the whole movie was when that guy, Brownie, I think that was his name. He's
Oh,
the
Doc.
no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no.
no, he's the plane, the pilot.
He's a pilot. I
Right.
thought he was the guy. He was the driver. Taking the guy to the set, and they found the two. He was the one who got
Okay,
the shards of
that's
glass
right.
in him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um, but he asked like he says something like I hope you don't mind me asking, right? Where why you're staying here, and then
Hmm.
guy looks over and goes, I don't mind you asking. And then they cut to like another, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, what?
And he had that weird smile, like,
Like, he had that weird smile throughout the whole fucking movie. That became part of his character. It did not bother me at all. At first, it was sort of like, why is he smiling so much? And then I'm like, that's just
yeah,
how he is.
yeah.
Because there's like that line where the girl says, "You're funny looking." He's like, "Yeah, I am funny
I
looking."
am funny looking.
Right? Like, at
Yeah.
least he knows. But like he's always smiling, he's always laughing. Uh,
Hmm.
Freaking Tara Reid is hitting on him, and he's just like laughing the whole time about it. I'm like, is this his acting technique? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't
It's like,
know. It was
okay,
strange.
I need something different from you, dude.
I know, like everything,
Show a
um,
different expression.
he laughs at the Garden of Eden, which I never would have picked up because the place was just
Yeah.
called the Garden, and then he's like, now I get it. It's the Garden of Eden. I'm like, wait, how do you get that like that? Like it's almost like he's in a whole different movie or something, and he's just like realizes
Yeah. I was like,
shit,
wait a minute. Okay,
he's
cool, dude.
oh god, it was so weird. And the other line I thought was the weirdest was not from him, was from the doc, the other old doc.
Hmm.
He said something to the girl like, what do you say? I said I wrote it down because it was so um the ending with the old man with the doctor saying, why don't you come keep the old man company? You cannot say that in a movie today.
You can't. That was really creepy. He's like, come on and keep an old man company. I was like, and he just
Did
kind of
you
like
really act
scoots her
like that? Because
away.
I did. I was like, okay.
I was
Um,
like,
I know she's an orphan now, but Jesus Christ. So I'm guessing that was what I was guessing they were kind of hinting at, was that she was gonna be his like kid, after
yeah, he
that,
was going to be
because
her guardian, you
yeah,
know.
both of
But
her parents were dead. So I don't know. But that was the creepiest thing I've ever, like, oh
I
my god.
cringed. I cringed. I was
I don't
like,
blame
you
you.
can't get away with something like that, in these days. And
No,
it's just,
no.
I was like,
Just
wow.
it was creepy. But whatever. I mean, like, obviously he didn't mean it like that and everything.
No, you didn't. Um,
Because nowadays, if you did say that line, you would have to follow it up with, you know what I mean, or I don't mean it like that, or like you have to clarify, because kids, I mean, nowadays, stranger danger or whatever,
mhm.
kids are very scared now to, but back in 2008, I think you get away with a lot. Like it was a different time period, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie, I don't know. That movie had some weird moments. Um, I honestly didn't even believe the Tara Reid and the other guy like love thing. Like I didn't buy it because it was too quick. You
It was
know,
too short a time, and
yeah, it's all in one night. It's like, no, that's not gonna happen like that quickly. Like if they had spread it out with like weeks or something, and they were kind of stuck together dealing with this stuff, like I could buy it. Um, but
well, okay, well, about that, because I did think the same thing. Yeah, that was really too quick, like I just said. But something just struck me. Um, it would take. Remember when the bad guy was doing his speech in front of those people at the end?
Mhm.
about his research and stuff, right? Now, that would take some time for them to set up that type of arrest or whatnot, from all those officials, and they would
Maybe?
have to like weigh the options and see what they got to do and set up all that time. So it could have taken weeks. It could have taken a while
I
for
don't
that to happen.
see, problem is
You
they
know,
didn't show that,
they
so
didn't,
it
but
felt like it was the same night or same day. And B,
yeah.
I don't think so because it felt like they were still because at the end when they were all together or whatever, and and the old guy carted the girl off and everything,
Hmm.
um, it was still like everybody was still like together from that thing. So I just assumed it was still the next day, which is sort of like I can get like then it goes into like how the hell does that kid be able to do that from there and hack into that? You know what I mean? Like that
Hmm.
just didn't seem like and they
Yeah.
never gave her like that they never gave her that trait of being able to do that. It was just like all of a sudden, hey, I know how to do that, like like um
It's a secret power.
I know, but see, but normally you establish that when
Hmm.
somebody's like, I've got to, we got to hack into the mainframe and do this or do that, and then how are we gonna do it? And then the little girl goes, I know how, right? And then
Yeah.
usually you roll your eyes and go, oh God, like the girl knew how to do this. Like, okay, you had to have that person do that, but there's usually that setup. This time it was just like thank you for doing that. That awesome work that took like no time whatsoever to do, and
Exactly.
I don't know. It all felt like I felt like the script was written, a really fun script was written, and then they were like, okay, we can't do this. We can't do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's change things. And then it becomes this like kind of mixture of like kind of different stuff going
Hmm.
on.
Yeah. They didn't know how to end it.
They didn't know how to
Um,
do most of it, I don't think. Like I felt like there's throughout it was like they're just kind of making shit up as they go along. But
yeah.
but see that once again, that I still give that the high rating of A minus because I enjoyed it. Like
I did
I
too.
I
I
thought
guess I'm just a harsher critic,
right, and
I
you
guess. I
have
don't
to
know.
be. You have to be if you're going to review these
So,
things. You can't just go, "Yeah, I liked it. 2 thumbs up." That's it.
yeah.
You have to talk about it. You have to say the things that are wrong with it. But
Mm,
my general consensus is unless you have somebody who's very narcissistic that's making the movie, most likely they already know the problems that they had because those
mm,
were probably problems that they suffered on set with.
right.
So anytime we critique them, generally speaking, unless we just totally just did not like the movie because it was just not our cup of tea, you know,
Hmm.
which then again should not be something people get mad about. People have no reason to ever like be like upset that somebody review their film. Like,
Yeah.
I put the movie out. I, I'm a filmmaker. I'm not somebody who's just talking about film or whatever. And you're an avid like horror film watcher. So you see these movies and kind of the tropes of these things.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. All in all, I felt like it was a fun movie.
I thought so
Tara,
too.
once again, Tara Reid was amazing, and
Yes.
I love seeing her. Everything she does, she's generally a lot of fun,
Hmm.
especially when she
Hmm.
gets to have fun, and that's what she did on
Yes.
this. She got to have fun on this. She got to play a character that was just really loopy and silly and fun, and kind of like I said, I wish they would have gone more hippie, because they really like I think that's what they were maybe trying to do, and it just didn't work out because she definitely didn't come across as a hippie. But
No.
that's what they should have done because I would have had, she would have had more fun. Put flowers in her hair, peace and love, man. Like I think she would have
A
been,
braided halo.
yeah, I think she would have loved it, that kind of shit.
I think she would have looked
But
great.
I think she would have looked great. I think she would have had a fun time
Yes,
playing the role. I
definitely.
think we could have dropped the whole love angle, thing and just had her have fun with it and stuff.
That wasn't a love triangle. That was a love. octagons. Like more and more people just kept joining. It's like
I know. Like it's
like
like
stop at three.
too much shit going on.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get like multiple writers. Generally, I don't even know how many writers were on. I think only one writer was on this one.
Was
Um,
it?
yeah, let me look it up real quick because I'm pretty sure um there was only one writer. It says only one writer, Brian Katkin. Did he do anything else in the he directed a he's directed some stuff. Uh
I
he
can't even
also
click on his name.
okay. Yeah, he didn't direct this movie though. Um
Mm-mm.
oh, he did If I Die Before I Wake. I heard of that movie. Or I've seen the poster of it. But you
Which
know,
one?
it's called If I Die Before I Wake.
Mm-mm.
It's on the bottom of his directing stuff. But yeah, he's the casting director for a Toxic Avenger movie. Jesus.
Nice.
Oh, for the
That's
original
a great
Toxic
movie.
Avenger. That's awesome. Good for him, man. Like, I don't know. I'm happy for him. He hasn't done anything since 2017. So that I guess, like yeah, and he acted in like Dino Crocs. That's all these he's acted in a bunch of these sci-fi movies
Mm-hmm.
um and stuff. So or a horror film. So I guess that's how he got his thing. But you know,
Wow. Yeah.
I really like I enjoyed it. I just felt like more writers probably or somebody like kind of messed with the pot, you know. I would love to one day interview that guy and ask questions like that, you know. Like that's what I always like to know is if like was this your final draft? Was this what you originally intended for the film,
Mm.
or were there people who kind of came in and fucked it up a little bit? Which I mean isn't a bad thing sometimes because people have ideas and they want to they everybody wants the
Yeah.
same thing. Nobody wants a bad movie. Nobody goes, I'm gonna make a terrible movie on purpose. Everybody has this idea that we want to make this the best movie possible, right? But when too many
Mm-hmm.
books get into the soup gets spoiled, and I felt like that was definitely the case with this. There's the soup got spoiled a little bit. Too many love triangles, too much um different stuff going on at times, and so yeah.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for
This went a
having
little
me.
longer than I was planning, but it was good. It was. I mean, I feel like some of these are going to be longer than others, depending on how much we can definitely talk about it, or whatever. If there's enough to say, some of the movies are not like as entertaining as this, and stuff.
Mhm.
This was entertaining. Um,
I thought so. But I mean, like I said, I like Tara Reid, and
yeah.
I went
Is
into
it
it like,
Tara or
okay,
Tara?
how am I saying? Am I
You
saying
said
Tara or
Tara. I thought you said
okay,
Tara. So
okay.
I,
So
but I don't know. I've got to ask her that if I ever meet her at a convention or something, and I'll be like, "How do you say your name exactly?" Like, I know you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy, but like I've heard multiple different people say it differently. So like some people say
Mhm.
Tara, and maybe I should. I bet if I watch interviews, people would say it both ways, and she wouldn't correct them. You
I
know.
think I've been saying it both ways, Tara and Tara, throughout this entire Zoom.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I don't know
But once I
either.
saw who was in it, I was like, okay, I went into it liking it already because of her, you
Yeah,
know.
like once
So
you
I was a
see
little,
Tara Reid in a movie, you get really excited and everything.
yes,
So
I do. I do.
I'll tag her in this on Twitter, and hopefully she'll watch the review or whatever.
Okay.
She
If
probably
you
won't
do,
watch the
Miss
whole
Reid,
thing.
I love you. You are awesome.
Yeah, if you are watching this, you probably won't watch it to the end unless you're bored. Like I don't like I see people who are like fans of this movie
Right.
watching it all the way to the end. But like
Mhm.
Tara, we love you. We really do. Also, please let
Yes.
us know how to say
Yes.
your name. Um, we adore her.
Please.
And she's like she's worked with a lot of my friends, and everybody who's worked with her said really like sweet things about her. She's just very,
Mm,
she just seems very sweet on set, and like takes pictures with everybody and just enjoys, just enjoys being there
mm.
doing the stuff, and always gives like 100% now. Like I know, like I said, with Sharknado, I think she phoned it in, but I think she phoned it in because she was kind of done with this
Mm.
stuff, and she did not think that she thought this movie would just disappear.
I mean, I still
And
thought she did pretty good in the first one, and all of them actually. But it was a little bit more of a low key on her
Mhm,
part in the first one, but then it
right,
kind of stepped up as it went. So,
exactly.
but I still liked it regardless.
I loved it. I loved it.
So,
I like
yeah.
Sharknado is one of my favorite movies of like these kind of sci-fi things.
Hmm.
And Sharknado 3 I think is my favorite of all the Sharknado ones. I think it was 3. It was like 2 or 3. I know it's the one that involved the president, played by the was it Mark um my brain is not
God.
yeah, my brain is not working right now, which kind of sucks when you're doing a podcast. Like you need, I think it was Mark Cuban. Um yeah, playing the president. And I think that was either 2 or 3. Um but I just I enjoyed them for that, and I thought they had a blast with this too, like just a lot of fun, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So all right, well, guys, join us or join me. What I'm doing is so far I've got every movie I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have a separate co-host or whatever guest, or and everything. So every movie for the next, I'm only doing 12, no wait, doing 14 for this season, and
Okay.
then because there's 27 total, we're gonna do them all. That's my plan. Do them all.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, I'm it's kind of funny. I'm doing all the ones I'm more excited about now, which is probably a bad idea because then later the ones I'm not excited about, I'm gonna have to do all of them in a row. But
Oh
maybe
no.
those ones I'll really, really like, and I'll be surprised.
You might be surprised.
I kind of was surprised with this one. I actually, honestly, I thought I knew Tara Reid was gonna make it fun, but I didn't know how fun I would have it with it. I
Hmm.
thought it was literally gonna be one big giant snake killing everybody, like Python and Boa and all those movies. But this one, I
Hmm.
would love to see. I would have loved to see a sequel of this, but I guess they don't have any sequels to any of the Maneaters movies.
They didn't have anything in the end credits, like no eggs laying around or a surviving viper or anything like that. So,
Yeah, I guess they all died.
because I stuck around for the credits.
Oh, you thought they'd have a post-credit scene?
Yeah,
You know?
and
See,
I
I don't
didn't
know.
see anything.
But that was before, like that was 2008. That was the same year as Iron Man. And Iron Man was really the first movie to really like put that make
Oh,
that a
okay,
thing. So
okay.
I think afterwards more people actually started doing that because but now actually it's not even a post credit scene. They do like the mid credit scene,
Mhm, mhm.
because they don't want people to like leave the theater, or whatever. They want people to stay around. So they do mid credit scenes and sometimes a mid credit scene and a post credit scene. So you get two,
And I
Marvel's known for
stick
that.
around for the whole thing.
Yeah, you're the last one out.
I am. I
There's
am. I am.
I am too. Like I like even if I'm by myself and I see the people at the theater like waiting for me, like the ushers waiting for me to leave, and they're
Mhm.
just sitting there going, "Come on, hurry up." And I'm just like, "I got to see this, man. I got to see what goes on, cuz otherwise I have to wait till YouTube, to like
Mhm.
post it on YouTube what the end credit scene is or something.
Mhm.
So anyway, that was way off topic, but
Yes. Yes, it was.
but
Okay.
yes, there was no end credit scene for this. Yeah,
No.
there was no eggs hatching or anything. I think there was all the pythons are dead. Tara Reid will not be back. Um, you know,
Yeah.
so
No.
there you go. All right. Well, thank you so much, MeeChee. I'll definitely have you back for another show.
Perfect.
And
Awesome.
everything. So you are more than welcome back, and we will talk more about this stuff later. And if you guys want to see the Maneaters series movies themselves, check them out. Go on Google Maneaters series, and you can see all the list of like all 27 movies. A lot of them are on Prime or Tubi, so you can rent them
What?
and
Yeah.
watch them or for
Hmm.
free. So especially Tubi, you can watch anything for free. Tubi's free. So go ahead and watch the movies. Let us know what you guys think. If you haven't seen Vipers, go see it, please. I mean, we might have just spoilered it, but hopefully you really enjoyed this podcast and this vidcast, and wait for next. I'm doing it the 1st and 15th of the month. So on the 15th, we'll have another one. I have not figured out what that is yet. Uh, there are a few that's already on the books. So get ready for that. But until then, I guess I'll talk to you guys later and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.